All right. So let's just align things here. We go to classic because they don't seem to have explorer mode on the. Okay, and we zoom in. Yeah, actually, this is not the map that I want. This is the map that I want. Yep. Yep, because I'm doing it. I'm doing one of these on every country in the world, and in my definition, well, Palestine is in ISO 3166, so let's actually do a round of do a map that doesn't have it. Okay, so all right, and so um yeah, all right. So yeah, there's a phone number there that I didn't look before. Okay, you'll notice very distinctive stop signs in Israel have the hand on them. That's a okay. Uh, yep. Oh, Israel has this pole. This pole is the pole of death, and I'll explain why when I move up here a little bit. Because the pole says on it in Hebrew, English, and Arabic, it says danger of death. And so, that, and then, I'm sort of an electrical equipment fan, like we have the boxes, not the cans, very unlike US electrical equipment, looks more like Europe. Um, okay. The prickly pear cactus. Cacti are native to North and South America, and so there are only a few types that you find in old world deserts, and this is really kind of the most classic one is the prickly pear. You find these all over the place, southern parts of Spain, Sicily, Tunisia, Jordan. There's this one, and this is called the prickly pear cactus because it's edible. Um, if you live where I am, of course, you can go to the supermarket. You can go to the supermarket, and right there in the aisle at Walmart, they have jars of nopales, the vegetable made from the pads of the prickly pear cactus. Okay. Um, so there's the gas station there. Okay, there's these directional lines. We have nine. Nine, I say. Nine. Okay. Interesting name. Um, you know, um, Nine. All right. Um, hmm. And we have a church, widow's son. Um, yeah. I'm thinking maybe the presence of a church implies, that there's a non-Jewish population in the area, which would be, the only significant non-Jewish population in Israel, of course, being the, 20% or so that are Arabs. Um, and so remember to guess, yes, it was near Nazareth. So, yeah, so the areas of Israel where Arabs live, is that you have a high percentage of Arabs in and around Nazareth, um, and that in fact, like Nazareth has Nof HaGaglil here is a Jewish neighborhood of Nazareth. That it's that in some Israeli cities, you tend to have an Arab neighborhood somewhere, but this one, is an Arab city with a Jewish neighborhood. Um, you know, yeah, here there's an interesting thing, like that near Nazareth there's Bethlehem of Galilee, which is, possibly the place where Jesus was actually born, that that the Bethlehem near that the Bethlehem near Jerusalem is first of all, in Palestinian territory. Specifically, the city is part of Palestine A, which I might talk a little bit about about those distinctions later. But Bethlehem is Oslo Accords Palestine A, and whereas Bethlehem of Galilee is in actual Israel, um, and then that you have there's an Arab population also along the edge here. You can see here al Fahm, Kafr Qaria, Bakal Garbia. These are Arab towns, and Taiba, um, and then there's and then there's Arab population of Israel also around Beersheba. Mostly in the Beersheba area, the Arabs are the outlying population, and the center of the city, is predominantly Jewish, and that that we will be able to see, if we get on the rounds, that Jewish and Arab neighborhoods are very very distinctive and very separate in Israel. That it's immediately recognizable what the difference is. All right, so yeah, this looks more like Tel Aviv or somewhere around it, right? Okay, we have Abba Akmatir. It looks like yeah, I this sign is very Dutch looking. That's interesting. Let's see. Wait, what? Are we? We're in a. Are we? We're not moving. Because that's okay. Um, yeah, I hadn't checked the map to see, like if it. Okay, so let's see. Without moving, let's see. There's the antenna. Okay. Yeah, I noticed you see the black and white stripes um, in Israel, that you often see those in former British colonies, in hotter climates. You don't see it in Britain really, um, or in southern Africa, but like other British colonies, India, Malaysia. Um, there's also red and white here. Um, so let's see. So if we're in a non-moving situation, then the question that you have is, like, is it a coverage? It sometimes it's a coverage mix up. It doesn't link properly to other views along a path, uh, or there may be some reason why there isn't coverage. But yeah, I want to say that I've seen the Tel Aviv street signs. I think they might actually look like this too. Um, but I've noticed, like Israeli street signs tend to be, not very long and tall, and also, like that this can give room for multiple languages, which quite often, even in places that are not Tel Aviv, there are three languages on them, that. So let's see. Without a lot of clues, I'm going to put it actually in the middle of Tel Aviv. Um, Yeah, Abba Akhmatir and Rekanati, it looks like. Um, yeah, yeah. I thought chances of finding the place was fairly low. Okay, so it looks like um, it was. I think this is still Tel Aviv here. There's a lot, there's a lot of continuous urban area with different city names. So it's so we don't really have boundaries on these. But like here you can see Herzliya, Hod Hasharon. This typeface means that it's not part of Tel Aviv. It's a different town. Um, oh, I should mention also here. Bnei Barak is the Orthodox neighborhood in Tel Aviv. So if you see an area with where most of the people on the street are Orthodox Jews, in the distinctive Orthodox outfits, this is one of your candidates. Um, and then Orthodox Jews also are that they're concentrated in Jerusalem and in some of the other towns in the around Jerusalem, like for instance Beit Shemesh, um, Modi'in Elite, which is in Palestine Sea, um, and let's see, there was another one. Yeah, El Ad is no, has a large Orthodox population. Um, and so there's kind of an Orthodox block in this area then. Um, okay. Um, and yeah, okay, so that's interesting. Front plate is orange, has a blue IL sticker, blue ILN. So it looks a bit like a European Union plate with the blue, but okay, is that a yeah, I think that's a New Zealand cabbage tree. Um, Norfolk Island pine, again, like these are, cultivated warm climate things. The Norfolk Island pine also is, well, I guess it's not, it may or may not be native to New Zealand. I guess you'd have to ask a botanist about that. Um, but let's see. Um, okay, so this is some other street sign, right? We have, okay, you'll notice the crosswalks signs are not really European looking. They've got, a guy in between two sets of dotted lines, 7 and 5. Um, we have Harav Rain Street. Yeah, that's interesting. We had two different street sign designs on this corner, which maybe were at a city boundary. Um, Neither one of them looked like that last Tel Aviv sign, so I think we're not in Tel Aviv. Um, I would say here again the population is Jewish. Yeah, this guy just has a kippah on. I don't think that this is an Orthodox neighborhood. Um, I mean, people wearing a kippah would be, completely normal for all kinds of Jews in Israel, I think. Um, okay, so here it looks like is that that's a BRT lane, isn't it? I didn't know Israel used those. I mean, I think that's a BRT, right? Or at least it, something like one. It has a separate lane. Uh, okay, we have Sha'anan College. Um, okay. This is a name of a place, Kiryat something, Kiryat, Kiryat. Okay, I don't know all the letters. Kiryat R or yeah. Uh, let's see. There's Kiryat Shimona. Oh, by the way, so are these places? No, they aren't marked in Hebrew on the map. Okay, well, they makes sense to guess. Okay, so we were in the Haifa area, so um, yeah, there's a bunch of Kiryat places up here. Um, yeah, I must have messed up reading the letters, that. So yeah, I know, I can, on a good day recognize some of the letters here. So a sign of course, a sign with Arabic, I would do better with. Um, the pole of death, once again. Yep. So you'll never forget that one. Um, okay, so this neighborhood has green street signs. Um, yeah, so they seem to differ considerably from city to city. Some California palms, um, Washingtonias, they're called. Um, okay, Mizpeh Ramon, Uvda, Eilat Mountains. Eilat is at the southern end of Israel. I think we're not close to it. But oh no, wait, there's Mizpeh Ramon in the south also. 12. Okay, where's 12? There's 13, there's 12. Okay. Um, could we be in Eilat? Yeah, let's see. Eilat is, I think, fairly deserty. Yeah, you can't really see anything, I mean, this is just an irrigated environment with landscaping, that yeah, whoever did their landscaping, big fan of California, it seems. That okay, we've got yeah, that's a lot, I think. In fact, it looks like maybe in the distance here you can see a city that looks maybe different from the foreground. That may actually be Aqaba on the Jordanian side of the valley. Um, wait, is the quick check on that? Which way is north? That way is north. Hmm. Yeah, that is the orientation of the valley is correct, isn't it? Yeah, so where do I think we are? Um, yeah, so the mountains are higher on that side. Yeah, okay, so we were on this street, Hashalom Square. Okay. Oh, Los Angeles Street. So that's why they have a bunch of Washingtonia palms, is that the street is even named after California. So, yep. All right. Okay, we have desert agriculture in it's this thing covered with sheeting. Um, yep. All right. We have yeah. Again, you can see these are boxes, not cans. Up on the pole of death. Um, yeah. So this looks pretty arid. There's a bunch of date palms. Plantation of them. Um, okay. So it's that yeah. So this is very dry. I think that this has to be somewhere in the Negev desert here between and so this sort of appearance you have from Beersheba all the way to Eilat on the Red Sea. Um, yeah. Wait, is there? Oh no, that's not a lake. That's more plastic sheeting. Um, yeah. So this looks like it may be down in the Yeah, yeah, it looks like Israel, doesn't it? Um, yep. So yes, it's true. These things actually get viewers. Um, okay. Uh, let's see. So we have, yeah, it's difficult to tell, where this might be other than it being, in the Negev. But okay, so this is out of the agricultural area. Looks like we may be headed into a village of some kind. Um, yeah, this is some large agricultural installation. Maybe a kibbutz. Okay. So this was toward the Dead Sea. Yeah, I've noticed it likes these desert roads. You get them a lot in Israel rounds. And so yeah, that this 90 is definitely a big one. Like that you can see it runs from a lot, up toward the Dead Sea, and then that there's some parts of the Dead Sea, in the end of Israel here, and then that 90 continues straight on into Palestine Sea, and that Palestine Sea is often not there's not a whole lot to notice when you cross over the border. That it tends to be relatively seamless with Israel. Um, and then there the in and so in I guess this is a topic really for the other stream, but but yeah, that you will see the same, on these roads. You will see the same signage, and the same signs with Hebrew and Arabic, on in both Palestine Sea and in Israel itself. um okay. So that was 11,135 points on only four guesses. Because if you've seen these things before, sometimes I sometimes I'm talking a lot and don't guess. Okay, so um, I usually have three games per country here. Okay, yep, we are in Israel. Um, yep, and so let's see. Again, I'm thinking Tel Aviv or nearby from the general appearance. Although I think that the Mediterranean coast pretty much all looks like that, except yeah, that's the Tel Aviv street sign that I mentioned. White, uh, Hebrew, Arabic, English. Um, okay, so we're at Nordau and Dizengoff. Um, yeah, and so I think this is probably within a few kilometers of the center, right? Yeah. Also, I should mention there's Dizengoff Center. Okay, yeah, that would yeah. Okay, so we were at Nordau and Dizengoff. Okay. Um. Okay, so Dizengoff may act. Oh, there it is. Sderot Nordau. Um. Okay, so there's this Sderot is one of the must be a word for street, right? Um, usually countries have several of those. Um, all right. Did I start on that on the intersection? No, no, I was on Nordau. Yeah, I was next to that corner, not okay. No buildings. Um, yeah, okay. So 7 meters off. So yeah, that one went well. Um, yeah. Oh, I was I was going to mention that another one, if you're in if you're if you think that you're in Tel Aviv, there is an Arab area of Tel Aviv called Jaffa. And this is where the ancient buildings are. Like Tel Aviv was um a was one of the early Zionist settlements. That it was like 4 kilometers or something. Like up the coast from Jaffa. Um, and Yeah, I think I've gotten rounds in here before, actually. In old Jaffa, that this has buildings that are centuries old, which you don't find in the middle of Tel Aviv. Um, all right. What have we got here? We have 3, 12, 12 Aleph. Okay. Um, okay, this looks more like Jerusalem, that there's hills. Um, yeah, actually, yeah, I think this has to be Jerusalem, actually, because uh, you know, e- the other cities this size are near the coast, although I think there are elevated parts of Haifa, though. So maybe I do have to worry about that. Well, yeah, I also don't see the Mediterranean Sea, which, that would be likely to be visible in. Oh, wait, yep, that. Okay, so this is not Jerusalem. Yeah, I think this is Haifa. Okay, so Haifa is in northern Israel up here. Um, in fact, yeah, that end looks like, is that this? Looks like it. Um, yeah, so let's see, is there, yeah, okay, so it looks like there's, uh, yeah, the mountain in Haifa that we're standing on is called Mount Carmel. It's, okay, um, that's right, all right, so we've got a view toward the harbor there. Let's see if we can find a street sign that would be useful. And as we've seen, the street signs are usually in, yeah, they seem to mostly be trilingual like this, right? Beaches, Central Station, Hadar. Um, okay, nothing obvious. Yeah. Yeah, that's sort of a Dutch looking sign, but the Dutch arrow is bigger, like it's yeah, okay. So oh, there, Ramat Hadar. Okay, so that was what the sign was pointing to. Um yeah. So you can see here, it's actually very steep, but covered with city. Um oh, that's right. I'd forgotten that the Technion is in Haifa, right? That's the Israel Institute of Technology, like famous university. Oh, I should also mention that as I remember, one of the other places where you find Arab populations. I think there are some towns around here. I think it might be Daliet Al Carmel. Yeah, these are Arabic names. Al Had Al Ghabi Al Ghabi, Al Nuja Al Randa. So that's another thing that you can keep in mind is that you can identify Jewish versus Arab areas by zooming in and looking at the names. Here in particular, al is not used in Hebrew. So al is it means that a noun is definite. It's basically the same thing as the in English. I guess there are some grammatical peculiarities that someone would, know if they actually knew Arabic, unlike me. Um, and that in Hebrew, instead of al as the word for they use ha. Um, so for instance, here Ninat HaKarmel is a Hebrew name. Um, okay. And Yeah, and then that's sort of getting into again the Galilee area has a large Arab population, and that Nazareth is the largest Arab majority town in Israel. Um, okay, um, yeah. Uh, that whether Jerusalem has an Arab majority is actually an open question. It depends on how extensive your boundaries of Jerusalem are in the Palestine in the Palestine A and B sorts of areas where um that of course those areas are they're cut off from Jerusalem by security barriers and that I mean Israelis are not even supposed to go into Palestine A, um, you know, at least without visas. I don't know exactly how it works, but okay. So we have acacia. That's hmm. Oh, that's right. Shittach. That's the word for acacia. It's used. You'll see it in the King. I think it's used in the King James Bible for the wood that Noah's Ark is made out of, which acacia is the modern botanical term for the tree. Um, and acacias are very common in the Middle East and Africa. Wait, in fact, is that one? Yeah, I think that's an acacia actually. Whenever you see one, I always think of there being a giraffe, nibbling on the leaves of the thing, and the acacia leaves actually have this resin on them called gum arabic, which is used like to stabilize soft drinks and things like that. Um, Danger when bridge flooded. Yeah, you're looking at this environment and the bridge floods. Yeah, okay. This looks like it's another one of those Negev north-south highways, major road. Um, yeah, take your pick. Let's see. How does it look? Yeah, this one's almost dead north south, maybe a little bit off. So maybe around here on 90. Um, yeah, there's a funny story that I've heard about Israelis not supposed to they aren't supposed to go into Palestine. That there was an incident where an army patrol somehow got bad information from their GPS system and ended up wandering into a Palestine A area and causing an incident. And the funny part is that like the directions came from Waze, which is an Israeli company. Um, and so even that the boundaries are so complicated. Apparently, even they sometimes don't know where they are. Okay, yeah. So yeah, something that's interesting here, that there's two different colors of the curb painting. There's the black and white, that I sort of think of as appearing in a lot of other countries, and then there's this other one. Um, I assume it must have this some meaning. Also, yeah. Also, interestingly, white line on in the middle, yellow line on the outside. Like the which white line in the middle, yellow on the outside. Like you tend to associate more with southern Africa. Um, like I just did the one for Ireland, and I kept finding yellow line on the outside and yellow and white in the middle there also. Um, okay, so this is a divided highway. Um, so where do I think this is? Yeah, it's pretty desertish. Um, yeah, it's also kind of east-west. I'm thinking maybe it's closer to Beersheba. Yeah, could be around here. Yeah, also, like the appearance of these things here, um, I think these are Bedouin settle. These may be Bedouin settlement. That there's this whole unresolved land issue with ownership of land in the Negev. That the recent coalition government that formed. That finally got rid of Netanyahu. Um, received the support of an Arab party. Like by offering a new settlement in the of the land claims in this area. Um, Basically, like sort of the problem was that the foundation of Israel, um, that the Israeli government sort of decided that Arab nomadic herding was like sort of primitive and not advanced, and that they would relieve the Bedouins of their traditional lifestyle, which it didn't go over well. They seemed to actually view this as stealing their land, um, and that yeah, okay, so that let's see, Arara Banegev, yeah, this yeah, okay, there has mosques in it, yeah, so this has to be then the Arab settlement that we were looking at. Um, right. So yeah, and so it was yeah. So I guess by it being serious desert and the orientation of the road and busyness, that I got it to pretty good actually, 10 kilometers. Um, okay. So this looks like it's not the middle of Tel Aviv. That's the Masons. Masons, yes. Okay, it may actually say on the sign where we are. Um, Israel accepted Masons. It looks like Netanya. Okay, yeah. So that's in. That's I think Netanya is north of Tel Aviv. Yeah, that there's Netanya. There's the pole of death again. Like found robustly in a whole lot of Israeli environments. Distinctive street sign again, not Tel Aviv. Hagalil means Galilee, right? Like the area around Nazareth. Um, let's see, Hagalil. Let's see, that street is, yeah, sort of a north-south thing. Yeah, it's in the right direction for this street grid. Um, okay, where's is Galil something that's long enough to find? Hagalil, right? With the um oh, Chernotrovsky High School. I've noticed you see this name constantly. Um, International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. Okay. Big Sandy Koufax exhibit. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, not noticing Hagalil on here. Um, yeah, maybe it's not that big. Um, okay, we're at Yerushalayim and Smilensky Moshe. Um, okay, Yerushalayim is the east-west street. Okay, so we were there, Yerushalayim and Haganil. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, there was that one that I was going to look at. Where is it? Let's see, Mega in the City. Yeah, I saw the name down here, wasn't it? Oh, Chernotrovsky. Let's look up who that is. We have new tab. Yeah, Shoal Chernotrovsky. Okay. Born in Russia, 1975, died 1943 in mandatory Palestine, in Jerusalem. Um, I guess well known poet in Hebrew. Um, okay. There we have a picture of Chernotrovsky on the 50 shekel note. Okay. So we've got yeah, that's definitely a good score, especially on a map this small, right? No complaints about that. Um, if I were on Explorer mode, which I'm not, that would be just short of a gold. But the Explorer mode map, as I said, like it has Palestine in it, and I'm doing another stream on that in this channel. Um, because my country definitions depend, on ISO 3166. And so I have, things that are not, may or may not be countries, like for instance, I have a separate Guam and Northern Mariana Islands, things like that. Um, all right. Third game. Okay, I got. All right. Small pond here. Um, has water wheels in it. That's odd. Wonder what those are for. Um, okay, we got these little sticks with arrows, that I don't know. Okay, can we get out onto a road? Um, dry but cultivated, which, is sort of a not unusual thing in Israel, certainly. Okay, so we're near that thing. Okay, here's the road. Um, Hephzibah. Um, well, that's someone that's in the Bible, right? I don't know who Hephzibah is, but that's okay. Um, okay, so that's where we are is Hephzibah. Let's see. Um, Hephzibah. Yeah, so there's irrigation, like there's some water here. It's not, it looks like there's some space too, which makes me wonder where we could be. Israel not having much of that space stuff, we know. Um, uh, Bet Alpha, okay. And you want to guess, okay. Galilee, okay. Uh, yeah, so there's Beit Alpha and Hephzibah, right? Hmm. Okay, and so yeah, Beit Sha'an. Um, yeah, I think I had noticed this about Galilee that like the areas like close to the border, some of these areas close to the borders are heavily Jewish. Uh, whereas like as I said, like this is kind of the stronghold of the Arab population of Israel is up here, especially in and around Nazareth. Um, okay, so we have yellow. Yeah, I've also noticed so far, that we haven't been put in any Orthodox neighborhoods or any Arab neighborhoods, and I have seen both before on here. They do come up. Um, yeah, this looks More like Tel Aviv. Is that a date palm? Yeah, I think that is. Okay, Tel Aviv signs. Oh, there's Dizengoff again. Okay. Put us on the same street. Yeah, and so then this one is Dizengoff and Basel. Okay. Yeah, so that was north of Gaza. It was, yeah, up here, Dizengoff. Um, let's see, which way does Dizengoff face here? Looks like here Dizengoff is kind of north-south. Um, right, Basel in a T-junction. Let's see, Zamenhof, right? Yeah, okay, Dizengoff doesn't go up beyond this point, I think. Oh no, where it is. Okay. Basel. Let's see, Jorez, Ben Gurion, Shir, Vilna, Jabotinsky, Basel. Okay. Um, okay, so we started on Jabotinsky. Okay. Um, is the cross street Dizengoff? I can't really tell. All right. Um, so we were not at Jabotinsky and Dizengoff. We were at Jabotinsky and Nahum Sokolov. Okay. But then yeah, so then that one again here, that sort of particular like high rise look is Tel Aviv. That it looks very different from Jerusalem. Um, and that we saw Haifa. Haifa is hilly. You can that and Jerusalem is also very hilly. And that Tel Aviv is not hilly. Tel Aviv is flat. Okay, so yeah, looks like okay, so this has got to be, this is a big highway. It's got to be one of the principal ones of the country. Um, let's see, it goes north south. I'm thinking, like main coastal road, like the two here. Um, okay, what direction looks like it might have? Okay, so it looks like we're a flat, like steppish sort of area, like yeah, okay, agricultural, yeah. So I think this is likely to be in the coastal strip. Um, but if we can just get a sign somewhere, that'll probably tell us quite quickly. Horashim Interchange, 1500. Let's see, Horashim. Um, I do not know where that is. Take a quick look. Yeah. Yeah, this one we've got, the advantage there's not that much Israel to scan through. Um, Wait, something FR. Oh, Kafar. Maybe. Yeah, yeah. That's like good something. Wait, 531. Um, there's 531. Um, oh, you'll notice there. That was a sign that was not multilingual, wasn't it? Because why else would I be trying to read it like that from the Hebrew? Uh, okay, Ra'anana and Kfar Sava. Um, so they have these helpful labels on the thing. Let's see, Ra'anana and Kfar Sava. Okay, timed out, 7 kilometers off. Oh, so we were right. We were right next to Qalqilia. Okay, so you can see here, that the highway is here. Qalqilia is here. No interchange because Qalqilia is Palestine A. Um, that that they want to make sure, like that nobody gets off the highway into Qalqilia. And you can see here, going north on the sixth. There's the AL interchange. You'd have to get off onto 551, drive down here, and then there is the Qalqilia border post, right? Okay. Um, you know, and so here, Israel and Palestine A. Um, Now you may be wondering how I know it's Palestine A is that like A and B, which I think there's not that much difference from, tends to be the urban areas in the West Bank, and then um, that that sea, that Palestine Sea, which as I've said, like you may not even be able to tell that you've crossed the border from Israel. That Palestine Sea contains, the Jewish settlements out here, and that Palestine Sea is sort of constructed to cut off everything from everything. In this area, it's the the borders remind you of Bopu Thatswana, except that like the people uh, designing that border in South Africa were they they uh, they just weren't as into the high level of detail that they have in the boundaries of Palestine A and B. It's what's been referred to as a Swiss cheese state. It's all of these little holes. And then that they're cut off from each other and surrounded by Palestine Sea. Um, okay. Um, yeah. So yeah. Another interesting thing here you'll notice is that in the Qalqilia area, that 55 goes here, intersects the highway, no interchange. Um, which I guess if you want to go to Kfar Sava, like you have to go down here to 531 and into it like this, right? Um, hmm. Yeah, it's sort of interesting, that there's no interchange here, right? Why would that be? Um, yeah, I'm also wondering here. I'm thinking that 55 might be Palestine Sea also. That major roads in the West Bank do tend to be Palestine Sea. Um, let's see, we have. So this is the next to the last round, and like so far, I don't think we've seen. Oh no, we did see an Arab neighborhood. That's right, near Beersheba. We were the Bedouin uh, Bedouin village that you could see from the road. Okay, so I did have at least one. That's good. Um, we still have not seen any signs of being in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, though. Yeah, so that's interesting. What is that? Uh, Looks sort of vaguely like a water tower, but I don't think it is. It's too small. Uh, yeah, so this looks like small small town or suburb. Um, um, okay, irrigation with nutrients, drinking prohibited. Okay. Um, okay, I was going to look at those flags just for looking at flags' sake. I don't recognize the other one. Right. Hmm. Not seeing a lot of street signs here. All right, so was that the last round or not? Oh, it was Beersheba. Okay. Um, yeah. Come to think of it, yeah, it did look like the desert, didn't it? Except some place that has irrigation. Um, okay, last round. Okay, this is hilly. This looks like the Jerusalem area. Mosque here. So, oh, is that Al-Aqsa? I think that could be Al-Aqsa Mosque there, right there on the Temple Mount. Um, let's see, Al-Aqsa. In the Al-Aqsa is in Jerusalem. Like there's I'm going to avoid classifying this area as Israel or Palestine. I think for the purposes of this stream, I would. But okay, so well, let's see if that's Alexa, then we would be like over here perhaps. Yeah, this looks like it could be about right. Yeah, I'm wondering about the scale though. Like maybe. But yeah, the rest of the this part of Jerusalem, it it's not actually Palestine Sea because it's actually uh annexed by Israel. But similarly, like it's not behind barriers. It's hmm, not seeing a lot of street signs. But yeah, this is definitely what Jerusalem looks like. I'll be surprised if it isn't. It was not Jerusalem. Okay, so what was it? No, it's interesting. It was not actually in a large place. It was one of the towns near Nazareth. Let's see, Kokab, Abul Hija, Moreshet. Okay, so here you can see, that this village has the Jews. This one has Arabs. Um, then yeah, so and this one looks more it looks more irreligious. Like no synagogue or mosque marked on the map. Um, maybe it's a town for atheists. Yeah, yeah, and um, oh, I should also mention that in telling between Arabic and Hebrew names in transcription, I mentioned, for instance, al in Arabic and ha in Hebrew. Um, here Abul Hijra is a contracted form. With that it's sort of awkward because the apostrophe, it turns out, is reserved for some other thing in Arabic transcription. It's used to translate a consonant that we have no equivalent of called ein. Um, and ein is it's there is a Hebrew letter that corresponds to it, but it's usually not pronounced in Hebrew. It was sort of lost in the last 2,000 years. Um, in and it's a very non-European sound, so it disappeared from European Jew speech, but not from Jews that spoke Arabic because they could speak Arabic, so they knew how to pronounce the ein. Um, okay, and that another one is that is that the Hebrew names have V's in them, and the Arabic names have W's in them. Neither language distinguishes between V and W, but the sound is written as V from Hebrew, and I think is pronounced like a V, and is W in Arabic and pronounced like a W. Um, okay. So that was last round of the last game, right? Um, was kind of hoping that the stream would end in Jerusalem, but it wasn't. It was yeah, that it really did look like it was on the edge of Jerusalem though, because it has the same kind of hills. Um, but so and that also, here, we were looking at an Arab village, so that it had a mosque. It looked kind of like the Dome of the Rock, but I guess it was not it, right? But something with a similar design, has this, has similar looking dome. All right. So I guess we're done here, and then these things follow alphabetic order by domain name. So after IL, of course, is IM, the Isle of Man.